Hey guys, we're here to bring you another episode of the Gorilla KHODDcast where we wrap up the events for July. So today on the show, we have Hate and Loot. Say hi, guys.
Hey,
Hey guys.
howdy.
Awesome. So the topics we have lined up for you guys today, we have a very quick shop talk, but actually this time we have some stuff to talk about, which is actually quite rare. The July characters' impact on the meta, thoughts about the Stargirl siege, some topics from 2D-tron as we have every month, and we have a reminder about the summer games, and then some thoughts on the August characters, and also some thoughts on the new quality of life updates. And that's about it for today's agenda. So let's get started. So first, very quick, right out of the bat, it's been a while since we had some shop talk, but with a very recent update, they rolled out changes to the shop in terms of first the mini hero and superhero packs that now have a bigger roster in terms of the character choices that you can get from those packs. So I'm not sure if you guys actually buy those packs or ever bought those packs. They don't really have very good return rates, but they do now offer, I think, Wonder Girl and some other scarce characters like Red Hood and stuff in those characters. So
Power Girl too.
and also, yeah, and also the featured alliance character for the week is also in those packs as a bonus. So if you're actually hurting on shards and you need a little bit more to top off Stargirl or whatever it is for that week, you can always take a look at those packs as another way to get access to those shards. So
Wait, you guys said
um,
Stargirl's in, or not Stargirl, Power Girl's in one of these packs?
She's
I
in
think
all the packs.
in the the packs under the hero tab, the one
Oh,
that
yeah,
has
I've never bought
like the
those.
small, medium, and
I've
big ones.
I've
Yeah,
never
and they
bought
have
them
like
either.
the bonus alliance character in them, right, for that week.
Gotcha.
So those packs are good in terms of return rate. I think that the mini and the hero packs aren't very good in terms of overall return rate, but the super pack is decent because I think at the very worst you get something like 80 gems per shard, which is not great but not terrible, and at the same time you also get the bonus shards, so that does make up for it. And then there was also changes to the alliance and PvP packs in terms of increased output. So previously, the mini and the big and the mega packs for both of these were 3, 7, and 16, I think. Is that right? Those were
Yeah,
the
I think
packs.
so.
Those were yeah. And this time around, they've increased it by a little bit. So the mini is now up to 4, the big is up to 9, and the mega is up to 20. So I actually calculated this. The rate of returns on these packs, let's say in terms of the PvP packs is 37.5. What's it called? Battle essence, or what's it called? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. 37.5 for per battle essence per shard for the mini, 38.9 for the big, and 50 for the mega. So actually, you get a lower rate for the mini pack, meaning if you're in it for basically just shards, the best output, like the best bang for your buck, is the mini pack, actually. However, if you, as many of you all know, the higher the pack size, the higher chance you have to get the higher tier characters. So if you're looking for uncommon characters or rare characters, you're probably better off getting the big or the mega. Otherwise, if you keep hitting for the mini in terms of return rate, you'll get a better return, but you'll get a lot of common ones instead. And the big and the mega, obviously, they also have a chance to get some loot, and the mega is guaranteed to get you some loot as well. So if you're looking for extra energy or some materials, then you probably want to tackle those instead. And also the limited time offers for the alliance pack characters are also up from 3 to 4 and from 5 to 6. So they've only increased those by 1, but the price of them, I believe, haven't changed. They're like 2.3k and something like that, 1.6k and 2.3k, something like that for the characters. But
One thing I want to bring up too on the packs, I always buy the big ones, even though the Mega Alliance gives you more gear. The gear seems like it's not really worth it. I usually buy the packs when I'm low on gems and I need energy, and I find that the
yeah,
big packs drop a decent amount of energy. They'll usually drop Blue Hope, and you get the better return on shards. So I
yeah.
feel like that's always the one I buy.
I heard the same thing too. I'm not sure if it's like just observation or bias or nothing, but since you're also confirming it, it might actually be a thing. So if you're trying to gamble on a specific type of loot, then maybe big is better than mega. I go for Mega because I want more of the guaranteed odds of getting the loot, right? So it depends what you want as well. But I think you really can't go wrong with any of these packs. So if you want more shards, go for the mini. But if you want like specific characters, go for the big or the mega. And if you want loot, go for the big or the mega. So, but yeah, it's great that the fact that I think that WB has heard us and they realized that we need more shards. Because I think on one of our last podcast, Loot was saying that the hardest to get resource in the game is character shards, right? So
Well, rebirth crystals, but
Rebirth.
a close second.
That's what we use the character shards for, right? We need
Yeah.
the rebirth crystals to do something with those shards, right? But yeah, sure. They're the most expensive resource, actually, I guess, because you can't really put a price on the rebirth crystals because they're basically priceless right now, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say they technically could be the most expensive if they chose.
Alrighty. I mean, that's what we have in terms of shop talk today. The rest of the other update stuff will come at the end of the show when we go over the quality of life changes. But let's get into July. So for July characters, their impact on the meta. So let's start with S.T.R.I.P.E and Stargirl. To be very honest with you guys, I have just been gearing up Stargirl's like a little bit. I finally got her to gear 10, I think yesterday or today. And S.T.R.I.P.E, I still have him at like gear 7 or so. So I don't really have much to say on either of these characters. I know that you guys were talking about them and you did a little bit of breakdown of them in their respective episodes when we had the podcast a couple of weeks ago. But let's go over it again. So, let's start with Loot. What do you think of either S.T.R.I.P.E or Stargirl first?
I like S.T.R.I.P.E. I think he's pretty good. I have to agree. I'm looking at our tier list, the latest one, and
Yeah, it just
after
came up
using
this morning.
him,
So
yeah, exactly. That's why I'm checking it out. It looks really nice too. Who's it? Dark Knight did the artwork. It looks
Brian,
fantastic.
Dark Knight, yeah.
Yep. So S.T.R.I.P.E.'s pretty good. He's not game-breaking OP or even OP at all, but he's good. He's a good red. Similar damage output to maybe AW Lex. Kind of needs supporting characters to really work well. Once he gets going, he kind of really ramps up. He can almost act like Larfleeze a little. He just can really start killing but it takes a long time to get him like really ramped up. In PvE, once he gets ramped up, he's fun because he can just take out every level. He's kind of like Black Adam in that respect for PvE. Stargirl, I don't like her. I really don't have a need to use her. And when I do use her, I'm very underwhelmed. I have both characters at L5, G11, level 80. And I don't know. Stargirl, to me, she's going to sit the bench. What about you, Hate?
Well, I mean, I went into it pretty heavy in the episode that just came out, but just kind of reiterate a little bit. I really, really like S.T.R.I.P.E. I lobbied hard for him to be an A. I think if he had a higher guarantee, he'd be an S tune for me by far. And I don't care if he ramps up a ton. I mean, he does. You guys, everybody knows my RNG isn't great, and I find that he ramps up often enough that he's still worth it. There's some matches where you're like he's a little bit of a letdown, but most of the time you open with his 2, he gets an overheal, he can take a hit. That's the thing. Power Girl can't just nuke him down. Even Larfleeze doesn't blast him down like every other red. So he's very tanky for a red. And then you get that call assist. So I rely on that call assist quite a bit to attack green characters with him when he's blue. He does a lot of good things. And then once he gets one kill, and if he procs, which that's the problem, it's an if he procs, he just goes crazy. But overall, I think he's a really good character. He's not an S tier character, but he is an A in my mind. I use him quite a bit. I actually use him over Castaway Green Arrow frequently, depending on the comp, if I don't need the purges. So, I definitely think he's a great tune. The Stargirl, she's one of those characters that every now and again I'm like, she's actually pretty good. And then I play another match where, actually this morning, just right before we loaded this up, I played a match, and I was just thinking that my opinion of her has increased a little bit, and then White Lantern Sinestro just one-shots her. right out of the gate. I'm just like, come on. She's so squishy. If she was just a little bit
That
meatier, I
happens
think she'd
every
actually be
time.
she'd be a great character if she was a little bit meatier. But you can't she's so hard to keep alive. I mean, one AoE from Black Adam, she's dead. One passive whip from Wonder Girl, even with strengths down, she's dead. So she does great things against Power Girl, against Bane. Sometimes she's great against Wonder Girl, and then other times Wonder Girl's like, yeah, I'll just purge off the debuffs and nuke you. But that's a problem with Wonder Girl just being absurd. She's never not been absurd since she's come out. So
Yeah.
she's better, but she's still hands down the best character in the game. Um, then so yeah, so I won't dwell on them too long, but they're not bad characters. S.T.R.I.P.E I think is a hit. Stargirl, she's not quite what I hoped, but she's not terrible. She's not an F. I mean,
Yeah.
she's a C
Yeah, she's
character in
not
my
an
mind.
F. She's definitely not an F.
I've
Not
been
a D
I've been
either.
reading the chat while you guys were talking about these characters, and well, I can't, like I said, I can't really echo your thoughts because I haven't really been playing with these characters that much. But I've been seeing it. Bullseye says that Stargirl is a Power Girl killer, and people are saying like she does pretty good damage output. The strength downs are just a bonus. So, what is that Mister saying here that you agree with?
Oh, this he likes Stripe a lot. A lot of people.
Oh,
I've noticed that a lot of players that are in the Gear 9, Gear 10 world really like Stargirl.
oh
So,
yeah,
and I think that is because Power Girl is such a dominant force earlier in
oh
the
yeah,
game.
definitely.
And I think I have a feeling something my gut's telling me now that we have the Siege list with Power Girl being in there, she's going to be a freaking nightmare. Um, that Stargirl may see a little bit of play for that reason. Maybe not if you're trying to use all bonus tunes all the time, but for people that aren't as quite as worried about going full bonus, I have a feeling Stargirl might see some play.
Okay, well that's good to know. So, I mean, for people who have invested in her, then maybe she'll be a good pay reward for she'll pay out dividends in Siege in the next upcoming
She's
Siege.
not one that I would recommend going out of your way for, but I mean, I think she might have a place somewhere somehow.
All right, cool. All right, so I guess from the new characters, we'll move on to the reworks. Let's start off with Hate, I guess, with Superboy and White Lantern Sinestro. How do you feel?
Superboy, I really like. I think they did a fantastic job with him. He went from
Mhm.
F to A right out of the gate. There was even some people like Sheriff Lobo, who I respect his opinion highly. That's the master of Siege. Um, he thinks he's an S tier character. I don't think he's quite there, but he's definitely a great character. He just does everything you want. I mean, there's a few matches where it's just like his kit really isn't needed, but I mean, he got the purge, which almost is 90% of the time you want to purge. He does respectable damage. He can stay alive pretty well. He's not very squishy. Um, he brings the total package. He's a really, really good character. And then
Yeah.
White Lantern Sinestro, I didn't like him that much when he first came out, but I've really done full circle. If they ever fix the star system, he's going to be
Oh yeah.
just bonkers. But he's a really good character. Outside of leader, I don't really like him at all, but
Yeah.
he's a solid mystical leader, which sometimes you need that because I feel like all the best leaders are either Hired Gun Dead Shot, which is your only physical that you're and Batgirl, I guess, and then the rest are greens. So I don't feel like there's a lot of mystic characters that you want to use as leader except Pot. So
I have to completely agree with you. There's just very
Mhm.
few.
yeah,
Okay. So how do you feel, Lute, about White Lantern Sinestro and Superboy?
I'll start with Superboy. I love him. I rebirthed him at the beginning of Siege. Actually, the day he came out, I think Lobo and I rebirthed him at the exact same time. He's just really good. I'm gonna echo what Hate said. He does everything that you want a tune to do. Um, he's not quite S tier, but he's very close to it. He's super high A.
Mhm.
He purges. He's got true sight. He's actually can take hits. Wonder Girl can
Yep.
hit him and he stays alive. Um, he's got that stun. He's got special damage. I mean, he does a lot. He's really cool. Really enjoy. Oh, and his first skill, the legendary of Can't Miss. He can destroy the Batgirl meta. Like, if
Mhm.
you run him on that team, you can take out the Batgirl team, no problem. So I really love him. I think he's awesome. And for him to go from an F to an A, well done. Well done,
Yeah.
Warner Brothers. Well done. White Lantern Sinestro, when I first started using him, I hated him. I didn't think his rework was anything special at all. I used him a lot in Siege. And one thing that was really kind of bothering me was that when you fought him, he was broken. So like I was really annoyed because it made those Siege matches so much harder. He would die, and then you're killing other characters, and they're still reviving. And we know that that was a bug because they just fixed it. Or it's being fixed. I saw it in the list of the improvements that Warner Brothers put out on Reddit.
Yeah, it's fixed. When I was playing Showdown this morning, I definitely noticed it's fixed now.
I mean, that's a huge fix. It completely changes kind of how I feel about him. Because on offense, the truth is, how much do we really use that revive? We don't want to use that revive because we get penalized for it. But
I still think even when you don't need the revive, he's still a solid leader character with the
I agree.
shielding.
It's good insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got good shielding. He rips apart characters that are weak against special damage. That first one, like Stargirl, he can one-hit KO her, like from the gate. He just hits her with that White Knight skill, and she dies immediately.
Yeah.
I like his purges. His purge and then the mends are really very useful. His death immunity kept me alive in a lot of matches in Siege, so I was really happy about that. And the Rise skill, it's an insurance policy. It's nice to have. It actually saved me from getting a loss in Siege a couple times, which is huge because if you lose in Siege, that's a big deal. You're losing a lot of points.
Yeah, I heard you don't want to lose in Siege.
You really don't want to lose. It's a really big deal. I mean, I even lost the last day. I lost one tune, and that was it. Like I was out of the running because of it. So yeah, both reworks are better than the originals. Superboy is fantastic, and White Lantern Sinestro is all right.
All right. I mean, I feel pretty similar to what you guys feel about these characters. Both of you saying that him going from like an F to an A is a very, very fair assessment. I don't think he would be anywhere higher than an A because he doesn't do like amazing damage. He's not like a ramp character, but he does bring a lot to the table now for Superboy. So he's like a Swiss Army knife that he's kind of like a green Red Robin in sort of a way, but in the fact that he does so much, but not the same types of things that Red Robin does, obviously. So as you guys were saying, he's got the can't miss basic that purges. He's got true sight. He's got sustained with some death immunity in his kit. He's got stun. He's got some ramping on his second attack move. He's got everything, and what's not to like? And he's actually a decently fast character. And let's say the best improvement to him as a character was the changes to his animations, I would say.
Oh, yes.
I didn't even remember that.
Used to be the most painful thing ever.
Yes. Now it's just like boop, boop, and it's done, right? So, that's good. Superboy is like on my most favorite like DC characters because he's part of the Super Fam. And, I was waiting to gear him up. And if they weren't going to rework him, then I was going to gear him up anyways. And the fact that he did it was like, okay, I guess he jumped to the top of the list now. So, and then White Lantern Sinestro. He was also a character that I wanted to gear up for a while, and for the same reason, because they reworked him, so I did. And I liked him before, and I like him slightly more than I liked him before. So he went from, I guess if we were to classify him, he went from maybe a C character to a B character, maybe borderline pushing A. The only reason why he's not an A character is because of Wraith Arena and how that doesn't really work well. Let's hope they change that, et cetera, et cetera. But
I think we had him as a D or an F. prior, and then
Oh,
moved
really?
into an
Well, I
A.
mean,
Yeah,
I guess the way I looked at him is because I'm a special damage
yeah.
aficionado in that sense. So he was one of those characters that I appreciated for what his kit brought as a special damage character. And so that's why I valued him a little bit higher than most people would. So I would say he was a C character before. Now he's up to a B, right? So for you guys, he maybe went from a D to a C or something like that. So he's a good character. He's lacking in some parts, but he's still decent overall. I like him. The 2D Tron was talking about a team that's very destructive with Mary, and he's talking about a Mary and Starfire based team with a White Lantern Sinestro lead. And I was running that team a while ago, and the only difference is that I find it hard to say, is he better with Mary and that combination of characters than Constantine is? Because I think Constantine brings a lot more to the table. Because you don't want characters like, if they die and they come back, that's good. But if they die and Constantine goes off on them, that's a whole different thing. Especially when you're playing with Mary and Starfire, who are special damage dealers, and you're putting int downs on everybody. So
The version of that team that I faced that was really good was instead of Starfire, it was Larfleeze,
oh
and
yeah,
it was nasty. That team was
yeah,
nasty. That was the first team I actually like. If you don't bring Black Manta, that team is extremely challenging to beat.
right. Like the team, one of my sort of default cheese teams, because I still haven't geared my Lobo and I will never probably gear my Lobo if it stays the way it is. I have Baby Lobo, Constantine, Mary, and Starfire. So Constantine lead, and that team is basically the same idea, except you just cheese them through like debuffs, right? So
Yeah,
yeah. So if you just replace Constantine with White Lantern Sinestro, you'll probably get the same thing. The only problem
but
is
you didn't
your
also
team.
remember with how Jordan everywhere. Constantine
Yeah.
isn't quite
Mhm.
as potent that other team. Mary just nukes
Yeah.
them down.
That's true. So maybe in that case, replacing Constantine with White Lantern and Sinestro gives you more sustain and
Yeah.
lets Mary go crazy, even crazier. So, alrighty. But I mean, that is what it is, I guess. So let's move on from the characters to the third topic, which is the thoughts on the Siege. So, in terms of this time around, what did you guys think of Siege? Hey, why don't you go first?
I really enjoyed it. I liked the only thing that got a little annoying sometimes was because you had Mira, White Lantern, Sinestro, and Penguin, some of those matches could go forever. And so that part was a little frustrating, but otherwise, I mean, it was one of the more fun sieges that I've had. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Had a good time playing. Um, I'm was looking forward to next month until Power Girl was announced, but I'm still, I always look forward to Siege. But
Yeah,
so
Power Girl. Well, it could be worse. It could be a Wonder Girl instead. But
yeah, exactly. I mean, there's worse
all right,
characters, but
exactly.
it was fun. It was a really good time. And
Alrighty,
the race at
Luke,
the
how'd you find
end.
Siege? Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, go ahead, Luke.
I had a really good time in Siege. I could definitely feel your pain hate on some of the matches could take forever. It was reminiscent of the Aries month where those matches took forever. Um, Other than that, though, if you take the match length out of the equation, it was a great Siege. The bonus tunes were really good. They were fun to use. Um, just a little tip out there for people that struggle in Siege. If you want Siege to be a little bit easier, it's really worth spending the gems because when you're in the highest bracket, we all use bonus tunes. So it's like
Exactly.
bonus tunes versus bonus tunes, way more. It's actually more fun than bonus tunes versus
Batgirl meta.
those D-bag teams that you've heard of.
We call them
So
Richard Mail teams.
the Richard Mal teams. So if anybody like really wants to have fun in Siege and do what I think the developers intended you to do, it's really worth spending the gems.
Yeah.
I can't say it enough. I think it's totally worth it. For me, it's the only game mode I pay to play right now. This is the first week in Wraith that I'm actually playing PvP because I want some more Barda frags. But other than that, I tend to stay in the top 1,500 on a weekly basis because it's just not. It's a whole nother conversation in itself. So the bottom line, I pay to play Siege. I enjoy it. It's the only game mode I'm really playing right now, so I get the most out of it that I can.
Yeah. Well, in terms of this siege, this is actually a very unique siege for me. Since the Larfleeze siege, this was the first siege that I really enjoyed all the characters that I played with, and I didn't have to default to using like Wraith Arena type of teams, right? And I've said this many times, and a lot of people who've been fans of the show and know from the Oddsman that where I like to play in this game is the special damage characters. That's sort of that's my wheelhouse. And this time around, the bonus tunes, there were a lot of special damage characters. So I got to really come out and play today, or this time around. So I got to play with Black Adam, which I actually thought he was always an underrated character. I really liked him during the month he was out. Like, got to play with White Lantern Sinestro, Superboy, and Mira. Mira is probably my favorite blue next to Black Adam right now. Like, a lot of people like, Constantine and Etrigan, heavy damage dealer. Black Adam stands, in a class of his own, obviously. But my favorite character after that is Mira. Mira has so much going with her, and I was so fun. I was so fun playing with Mira again. And that's like I was echoing your thoughts when I was thinking about, when you guys were saying matches would go so long because of all the White Lantern Sinestro Revive teams and so on. Mira was key to a lot of that, right? Because she brings the heal immunity. So
Well,
most
it
of the
makes
time,
it fun too sometimes. I mean, the
yeah,
long matches are only bad
yeah,
whenever you're like, oh crap, I got to go to work. But
yeah,
you
exactly.
know,
You have to know what you're getting into when you see the opposing team. Like, all right, I got to put 5 minutes aside, 10 minutes aside. This is gonna be a long one.
That was
So.
part of my strategy on how I was going to play Siege. I
Mhm.
usually bought the energy pack like
Yeah.
at night while I was in bed, like watching TV before I go to sleep,
Mhm.
because that's when I had the most time.
Yeah.
If I would wait until the next day with work the way it's been going for me lately, it's just so busy.
Yeah.
So, it's like you really have to plan out your day. When do I have like 45 minutes to play this many matches?
Mhm.
well, and what I like about it too is that you play because it's funny because when we do our tier listing, we always rank characters that are siege characters slightly higher afterwards because we've played with them for a full month, and you really learn and understand those characters inside and out because you've used them so much.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. You know their strengths, you know their weaknesses, you know when to proc what skill,
Oh
because
yeah.
you use them so much.
Exactly. Like, I have to say that I've appreciated Black Lightning and Superboy's purging so much more in this siege because
I
they're
never
purging
liked Black
so
Lightning before the siege, so I was
Black
never
Lightning
high on him.
was like a game saver in a lot of
Oh yeah.
my matches. I mean, if I didn't
Because
bring him, my survivability went down the drain.
my matches, because I don't have a lot of the reds geared at gear 11, so I played with basically just 2 greens and 2 blues all the time. My matches would probably always go over at least 5 minutes because my team was all sustained characters of White Lantern, Sinestro, Mira, and Black Lightning, just healing, 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 healing all the time. Just like, so that's part of the reason why it was kind of I wouldn't say boring, but it was really, what's the word here? It was sluggish, really, really sluggish. And my damage, quote unquote, damage dealer was Superboy, right? So.
Oh, jeez.
That actually happened to me a few times too, and those matches were rough. They took a while.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was going through all my character. Like, anytime I got a chance to run a 20-point team, that was the team I would go with, right? So, and the upsides I would win with 20 points, but that match took like 10 minutes. So, anyways, that is what it is. Okay, so far Siege seems good. Hopefully the next one will be. From what we know so far, it doesn't look like it's on the same level yet, but we'll see. Maybe things won't be so all Power Girl centric, but you never know.
Yeah, maybe not.
It's hard
Hopefully
to
they give us more
tell.
rebirth tokens.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the next topic, the 2D Tron topic for the month. This month he stuck us with some difficult ones. Riddler and Beast Boy in the meta. So let's start off with the one that actually we can probably talk a decent amount about. Riddler. So I'm going to hand that right off to hate mail. So tell us about Riddler.
Well, it's funny because ever since the Flash and Firestorm rework, I've been trying to make Flash or Reverse Flash work with Riddler because I wanted to do a speed down team. So I
Yeah.
do like Riddler. My only problem that I've been struggling with is that because there's so much Hal Jordan Green Lantern, it's hard to debuff anybody. But I do
Mm-hmm.
like Riddler a lot. He's one of those characters that I struggle to make him work, but I really like using him. I like him best of all things in every team comp I've tried over the long period of time that I've tried to make Riddler work, because I've always really liked Riddler as just as a character, is using Suicide Squad Deadshot with him. For those two, because the agility downs let you stun at will, that always seems to be the best combination for those two.
Mm-hmm.
I am starting to have a little bit of success with, yeah, and M4 brought up a good point. He's really good with Killer Croc too. Those two are a match made in heaven. But you have to have a purger. And I hate doing it, but the best person that purges is Wonder Girl. So sometimes the match just becomes about her anyway. But she does allow you to strip all those debuffs, deal with any of the greens that are going to kill either Suicide Squad Deadshot or Killer Croc that you pair Riddler with. Because Riddler doesn't survive great, but you need those. I sometimes use World's Greatest Detective to make that work, but then
Mm-hmm.
his best pairings are usually other physical characters. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
still experimenting with a speed down version with or World's Greatest Detective, Riddler, Reverse Flash, and Mirror Master. I've been trying to make that work because I think it'd be really fun.
Does
So
sound
I don't
fun.
know. I got a few other ones I want to try. I want to try a combo with Killer Croc and um, Riddler, and then I've been testing a few different things to try to deal with the purges because there's only a handful of AoE people
Yeah.
that can strip AoE, which I kind of wish we had like another option that wasn't that's either green or maybe a different blue character that isn't Wonder Girl, just so I don't have to use her. So those are a couple good combinations. But I like Riddler a lot. I think he's got a lot of potential. The problem is the M-Boar. Oh yeah, Dung Beetle, but then you have to use Beetle. I guess that does.
Yeah.
I guess that could work. I should probably experiment with that a little bit. If when you see the video
Yeah.
version of this, I'll have tested more comps with Riddler because I'm trying to
Sounds
make him
good.
work with Reverse Flash.
All right. Loot, any thoughts on Riddler? Do you even have him?
I do have Riddler. I so the two characters that 2D John wanted to talk about this month, they were
Yeah.
in the time when I was on a hiatus from the game. So
Okay.
while I was able to buy a small amount of frags when they were in the store, I don't have either Riddler or Beast Boy in a usable status right now. So I really
That's fair enough.
I can't comment.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll throw it back to hate again about Beast Boy. So, do you have any thoughts about Beast Boy and where to put him in the
So
meta?
when we did our tier listing, we had Beast Boy as a D. And after experimenting with him frequently for 2D Tron, I'm more willing to move him down to the F category because he does nothing. He has a good opening AoE that does some turn meter down, and that can be useful. The out of turn attacks, if you stack both Donna Troy and Wonder Girl with him, he will use them frequently. But um, yeah, I guess Fate and Junior 2D Shrine was just putting in chat. So I haven't played with him with Junior yet, but I struggle to get him to do anything. He against Atrocitus teams, he has a little bit of purpose, but I just don't see a reason to bring him outside of that. You can't get his death immunity to proc or his immunities to proc ever. Like it's impossible. I think it's bugged because I just can't get him to work. Um,
Hmm.
I have played with him in the past with turn meter down teams, Kid Flash teams, which will get him to proc a little bit more. But his specialty was supposed to be kind of like one of the things that I thought they were bringing him in for was to remove awareness, and I think his kit's just too all over the place. And one thing I don't like about some of these reworks, like for example with the new Firestorm that just came out, which I'm sure we'll talk about, they seem to go half with characters and try to give them a let's do everything. So he does anti-enrage, he does anti-awareness, he does turn meter, but instead of kind of more specializing in one of those areas,
Hmm.
he does a little bit of everything, which makes him a master of nothing. It's okay to be a Swiss Army knife in certain scenarios, like Red Robin does it right. Superboy does it right. Beast Boy does it wrong.
Yeah.
So
The
I
thing
hate to say
about
it,
Beast
but
Boy, and the only place I thought that he would actually shine is on a Titans team because he would get more out of turn attacks and things like that. The problem is that there is no real good Titans teams, and even so, like if you were to build him around the Titans team, he still doesn't do that much damage. He doesn't do all that much. He doesn't bring that much to the table, even if he's going off all the time, right?
yeah,
So yeah, like they need to rework him again, and probably a third time as well. Like what I would see is like a kit revamp and then a stats revamp if they didn't do it the first time around. But okay. So, anyways, I mean, my thoughts on Riddler though is that Riddler is a character that is basically the jack of all trades in terms of debuffs. Like he brings a lot to the table, but not in terms of damage or anything like that, right? He's got interesting stuff with stunning and call assisting. The problem is that you need to. It's hard to put him in a focus team. I think. I mean, I guess if you do, you'd probably only play half of his kit. Am I the only one who feels that way about Riddler?
yeah. Yeah. I mean, because you don't always want to use his taunt on a taunting
Yeah.
character.
Hmm.
I wish he had like I wish he was more like I wish he started with awareness. I don't he wouldn't be broken at all if he started with awareness and then he could put the taunt on the problem character from turn 1.
Hmm.
That I
It
think would
forces he
make
wish
him
he wore a belt. Yeah. So, if you would you say you wish you wore a shirt,
True
or do you have
sight.
a
I meant
legendary
true
then?
sight, not awareness. I always call true sight awareness. If he started the game like he's just like Superboy, when they give him a rework, just start him with true sight. He's instantly a
Yeah.
character you're going to bring often.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense too. Yeah.
Because then you
Alrighty.
could, yeah. So
Well, hopefully 2D-tron gives us slightly easier characters for next month.
we say that every month, I notice.
Yeah. So, anyways, but I mean that is part of the challenge too, because you're not going to just like, oh yeah, find us a team with Wonder Girl.
Yeah.
So,
No, I get it.
anyways, we'll move on for that, and we'll turn over to Hate for some summer games reminder. So, say what you have to say about that.
So we just announced the new summer games. The game will be kind of like we did last year, but this year it's going to be around making a team, the most difficult team you could possibly put together to beat the hardest team you could possibly beat. So it doesn't matter your power score, it doesn't matter your, any of that stuff. Just um, the perception of the community. Wow, that team should not have done that well.
Yeah.
Type of scenario. So whatever you can put together that is the most impressive, we'll take our group of WRL broadcasters and people we know and respect and let them review some of the videos. Then
Yeah.
we'll narrow them down. We'll pick 3 and then we'll let the community vote on the last 3. We're going to do a $20 gift card to the top winner for whoever has the
Yep.
for iTunes or Google Play, and you also get socks. And they can be
Are we
used
gonna
or unused.
for the actual gift cards? Are we gonna restrict it to area like zones? Because through PayPal, I think it's North America is like the limit for it. Um, unless we like if we want to send it to Europe or something, we need like European PayPal accounts or something like that.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But there are ways around it. We'll figure
Yeah.
something out, or else we'll find a way to send alternatives, or we'll send you more
Yeah.
socks or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll make it work. So,
Lots
Bullsey
of
take care of it.
socks. Yeah, Bullsey can take care of it. Yeah, he's in Europe. Okay. So, so what are we talking about then? All right. So from there, do we have a deadline for that?
Oh, the deadline was August something. We were doing.
Hang on, you cut out. What's the deadline?
I think it was August
He
7th
said
or
August
8th.
something.
I think
Okay.
it was the 8th.
Early
I have it
August.
in the post, the official post. I'll repost it when we send it
Yeah.
out. But
Yeah.
that'll be the
Are we
first
gonna
one. We're
do
gonna do
another
more of
event
them.
after that week? We gonna do
Yeah,
like
we're
each
gonna
week?
probably do 3 or 4 of them. Probably we
Okay.
usually do 3, so we'll do 3
Yeah.
probably.
We have a couple entries already, so you guys still have time. So get them in while you can, and then
Yeah, it
you
just
have
came
like
out
a
2
week
days
or
ago.
two. Yeah, so you have a couple of weeks. So get us that stuff as soon as you can, so that we can look at it and start deliberating. Okay, so from there we'll go on to the juicy stuff, all the new stuff. So we recently got the silhouettes and the spoilers for August characters, and some quality of life updates that we'll talk about right after that. So first, let's get on to the good bits. We have the announcement of Captain Atom and Booster Gold, two characters that people have been asking for a very long time, and reworks for Reverse Flash and Firestorm. So that's kind of an odd pair to pair together, but I mean, I guess it's no different from Superboy and White Lantern Sinestro. So anyways, let's get to the new characters. Who do you guys want to talk about first, Booster Gold or Captain Atom?
Well, let's talk about the big elephant in the room, which is Captain Atom, who looks amazing.
Yep.
He looks great.
So let's talk about the most interesting thing about him first. The new ability, Disease. All right. So I don't have the
I have it right here.
Yeah, I've got it too.
So could you read off what Disease says?
At the beginning of the afflicted hero's turn, deal 3% true damage to the whole team. Each time it deals damage, 10% chance to apply one disease to a teammate. Duration 3 turns. Which that sounds awesome. But the only question I have is a lot of people are saying that's exactly what bleeds are, except they don't spread.
Yeah.
Is that the same thing?
Bleeds do was it 3% true damage, right? Is this also 3% true damage?
It is.
So it's like super bleeds.
Okay. So basically it's bleeds that can spread.
Yeah.
Does bleeds last 3 turns?
Oh no. So their bleeds often will only last 1 to 2 turns, depending on which characters there are, and some have permanent bleeds, like what's his name? Swamp Thing. And you have characters that can increase the duration of bleeds, like Dr. Poison. But often, I think the average max duration is 2. But Disease are basically just super bleeds.
Well, the other thing M4 brought up is that it hurts everyone as opposed to one character too.
Oh, so it hurts your team too, or only their team?
I believe it hurts everyone.
It hurts your entire team, and it spreads.
So it's like the plague. Everyone just gets a plague.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this because I think with some reworks, I mean, you're looking at characters like Joker Damaged Goods, Chemo. There's a lot of characters that I think this fits into very well.
Oh yeah, man! Can you imagine if they give Chemo diseases, man?
Honestly, I think they created the debuff for him. In my opinion, I think he's going to get reworked really soon. I think this month. This is just my opinion. I don't actually know this.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think this month they're like testing out the disease on Captain Atom, and then I think they're going to go full blast disease on Chemo.
Basically, M4 saying Kage should be in the game to spread disease.
Yep,
spread the STDs.
They should just rename Chemo to Kage.
It's too bad that he's in Portland. He's not awake yet.
Yeah.
So good.
He's probably in Portland spreading more disease.
So on a slightly lighter note, in terms of Captain Atom, other than the disease part of his kit, what we see on paper, he looks like a special damage machine. He looks crazy good.
I mean, he's so many things. I mean, just aside from diseases.
But I mean, he does. Yeah, go ahead.
He's got so much. I mean, there's just so much to his kit. I'm just reading through it. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's got everything you could ever hope for on a character. Yeah. He's going to be the ultimate. I have a feeling he can't do much damage. If they make him do high damage like Wonder Girl, we're going to have another Wonder Girl situation.
Or it might not just be Wonder Girl. He's going to be like Black Adam tier, I think. So
I'd be surprised if he isn't. The only thing I think that's going to keep him in check is the fact that Hal Jordan became Hal Jordan.
Did we take a good look at his gear set? I didn't really take a good look at his gear set. Is it like a striker, or like is it mixed, or is it a tank?
It's not. So I don't
understand any of that stuff.
They have it on Reddit. Reeves posted it. If you look at his stats, usually the tunes that are striker, their strength category is higher. So his base is 1328. That's definitely not striker.
No, I mean, are you looking at his int? You have to look at his int because he's special damage. So is his int
got like
really
17?
High?
Yeah, that makes
he's got almost 1800.
Yeah, his int's really high. Now, is his apparently 2D Tron says he has very little agility, so I think he's a special striker. So
Yeah.
if he has very low agility and very high, what's his HP? His total HP.
He's only got 28,000.
Yeah, so that sounds like striker status to me. So he's
Okay,
probably
so
going to get
maybe he will have
one-shotted by a
high
lot
damage.
of blues. He's probably going to
Yeah.
get one-shot by a lot of blues.
Every single character this month has virtually the same HP.
Yeah, so it's a bunch of strikers then.
Yeah,
I mean, that's,
so he'll die like Stargirl, which I guess you kind of almost need if he's going to do all
Yeah.
this craziness.
I mean, if you think about it, Black Adam's the same thing too, right? He's a glass cannon. So like you have to kill it before he starts going off, or else once he goes off, he's unstoppable.
I mean, he
So-
ignores shields, he ignores awareness, he can't miss.
As long as the person
Crazy.
has disease, he can't miss. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And as we get more disease characters, it's going to make it so he's
Yeah.
can do more and more.
And
just
I was
heal
actually
immunity. I mean, it's crazy.
I
The
was
only
actually
thing
afraid that
that's
he was
going
gonna-
against him, I think, is the fact that we have Hal Jordan in the game.
I almost
Yeah.
think they did that because they knew he was coming.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't have Hal Jordan, it'd be a nightmare.
Like when I saw
Yeah.
this kit, I thought I was afraid that he was going to be the siege character because I want to get as many shards as possible of him, and now I'm just going to go full out on his hero challenge so I can get him to at least L5. I might actually consider buying packs to rebirth him if he's that good, you know. So the question is, I have to pull that trigger right off the bat because he's going to be right at the beginning of the month, and that's when his pack comes out, right?
Well,
wanna
I know
take
me,
him-
Loot, Ballsy, we're all getting him like the minute he comes out. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
let
think
you know.
that first weekend I'll have him L5 right away.
Yeah. Anyways, that looks exciting. Then we have Booster Gold. So, what do you guys think of this? Is a very, very highly sought after character. Like, I was surprised at how many people wanted him in the game, and he came.
Well, Loot,
and
you really wanted him and
Yeah.
know a lot about his history, correct?
Luke?
I don't know anything about
I
Booster
just-
Gold.
No, that
I
was-
didn't even know who he was.
No, that was Doom. Doom loves Booster Gold.
I know. I was messing with
Hey,
Luke
he
because
was
Luke,
kidding.
as soon as it came out, he goes,
I was like,
"Who's
who
Booster
the
Gold?"
hell is this guy?
I think that since I joined the Oddsman and since I became a mod on Reddit, Doom has been talking to me about Booster Gold since that time. So
Which I'm
that's
kind of
been
worried about
about-
him because he hasn't commented since they announced him, has he? I haven't seen anything from Doom.
Doom's probably just busy with work or something. So
But I
Doom's
just figured
being
he would be
Doom.
like
yeah,
super.
I would
Excited for that.
imagine Doom making a gigantic comeback, like either for the siege or at least like when Booster Gold's pack comes out, he's probably gonna just drop like $500.
Yeah, I want to see Doom compete in Siege with his bizarre teams.
with the Doom teams.
Yeah.
Was it the Doom Patrols? Yeah, that's what
They
Yeah,
would
Doom
all end
Patrol.
up
Doom
being
Patrols.
Richard Mail teams.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. All right. I mean,
You want to talk about
Any-
his kit a little bit? Because it's a little
Yeah.
weird.
I don't have it in front of me. Does anyone have it in front of them?
Yeah, I
do.
do.
You want
Go
to read
ahead,
it off?
Luke.
Hey, oh,
real
okay.
quick?
I was gonna say. All right, so his kit is like, I don't know. It's he's one of those like 50% characters.
Mhm.
A lot of like, if this then that or maybe. So like his first skill is damage to an enemy, and then his legendary. Oh no, and then it's plus 80% additional damage if Booster Gold has True Sight. All right, so once I read that statement, my first thought is, okay, well that sounds really cool. How do I get him True Sight? And then I'm looking down in his kit, and then his last skill is 50% chance to start the battle with True Sight. As soon as I saw that, I was like, that's terrible. Because it's so limiting. It's like, do I really want to bring him? What if he doesn't proc True Sight? Then it's a lot of his kit is based on
Right.
on does he or doesn't he have it? Well, actually, that's not true. I think just that skill to if he's a striker, and I think that's what we think he is.
He's got high strength. I mean, 1681
Yeah.
plus 915.
So I'm
Yeah.
thinking that you really need that plus 80% additional damage to like make him effective. That his basic seems like a huge part of his kit, and to not have True Sight just is a limiting RNG based skill. And
Gooditron's pointing out that he's got an ability that applies True Sight. So he's kind
Yeah,
of like,
that's it. His 2 is guaranteed to apply True Sight.
Yeah.
It
So
is. But so then you're starting the fight with his 2 to himself.
half the
Yep.
time.
Yeah. Or you could play with Red Robin and give him True Sight, I guess.
And the weird thing is, you apply True Sight 60% shield and purge 4 debuffs from an ally.
Yeah.
So you can give I mean, that's pretty good in my mind. You're giving yourself 60% shield and purging debuffs.
That's a lot of shield.
Yeah, but
And then
I feel
Booster
like I would
Gold,
want that on turn 2.
probably, but half the time you're going to start with True Sight. And then also keep in mind, if you're, say you want to give that to Alan Scott, so you're giving him 60% shield or somebody
Wow, yeah,
else
that's
on
true.
your team.
Oh my god, yeah.
Now Booster Gold also gains with his legendary 2 strengths up and 40% chance to gain damage immunity. That's pretty darn good.
Booster
Yeah,
Gold
that's
Alan
pretty
Scott sounds
good.
scary, Jesus.
The 40% though just rubs me the wrong way. It's like, will
It's
it
damage
work? Will
immunity
it
though.
ever?
I'm okay with that because damage immunity is.
It's
He's
very
gonna be nightmare in
powerful.
defense. Yeah, he's gonna be a nightmare in defense.
Yeah.
Damage immunity is better than awareness. I mean, it's solid.
Now, the shielding and the whole thing with Alan Scott got scared, but then I thought about, wait, one of the rework helps take care of that too. I mean, along with Captain Adam, who ignores shields, but we also have Reverse Flash, who's getting reworked. So
A lot of ignoring shields this month.
yeah, and we
Yeah,
have
skill 3, heavy damage and apply 4
Yeah.
strength down. That's very similar to Alan Scott's 3, heavy damage and applying strength down. But this one ignores shields. And then
Yeah.
you get that RNG based, will it's done, won't it's done.
Yeah. Well, that is what it is. So
I think he's gonna be good. I'm actually pretty high on him.
okay. Well, let's hope he pays out. So what do we think about the reworks being Reverse Flash and Firestorm? Have you guys been playing with them a bit yet?
I played with him a lot since last night.
Oh yeah. All right. So I guess we'll hand it off to Hate then. What do you think?
Firestorm, I'm a little disappointed in, to be honest. He's better than he was. His basic does a ton of damage, but he still needs a lot of time to ramp. My problem with Firestorm, and I would say the benefit is that he is a little meatier than some of the other energy characters, but he requires a fair amount of ramp up, and I don't see any reason why I would bring him over why I would bring Firestorm over, or not Firestorm, Starfire over Firestorm. I have 2D-tron played with a lot of Grad teams with him, and he does work, but Grad stinks, so that you have a little bit of dead weight on your team when you do that.
Yeah.
He's not bad. He's good character. He does give the shields. I just wish they wouldn't have done a bunch of this 50% garbage, because 50% of the time he's good. 50% of the time he's not so good.
The classic
It's all RNG.
Firestorm setup team involves Clayface. So you start with Clayface and you just like go super nuke right off the beginning.
It doesn't work. I tested that because
really?
he purges 10 buffs, but it doesn't seem like it does as much damage unless they're intellects. The plus 10% special damage per buff purge, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's a lot. Like
it doesn't.
When you compare them to Starfire still does more damage with no buffs.
So try a team with Grodd and Dr. Fate and who else and Mary.
Yeah, I've messed with a bunch of that. It works. I mean, he's not a bad character. Yeah. He just I'm actually going to test more buffing teams where you just do a bunch of buffs, and try to get those intellects and then just do one big nuke. But there's just so many buff purgers now that it's hard to ramp them up without getting all your buffs purged before you can even use it.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is, and the previous version of him and the current version of him hasn't really changed because you can't really run him into a Wonder Girl team. That's just stupid. Because
she wrecks him.
Yeah, like you can't really get any mileage out of him unless you're playing Brainiac, but then the problem is she's still purging your buffs away and you need those for him to be good, right?
I wish there was something that was it has to be costly, but I wish there was some way to protect your buffs.
Like, I think that the problem I see with Firestorm is he's going to suffer the same problems as Doomsday. Doomsday is a very good character, but he needs his buffs for him to be good, right? So he needs time to set up and get going, right? And Firestorm is the same thing, just he attacks on a different angle, right? He attacks like he's got AoEs, he's got really good damage output on his basic, but you're not going to want him for a quick and dirty match. Like, and characters like Starfire are very similar to him, and they go in really easy, pretty much any team. They stand alone, quick and dirty matches, easily. But if you want to set up, play the long game, Firestorm will be good. But then again, is he just not a worse Starfire? Like that arguments were, we're still going around that argument. And I guess if Doom was here, he'd tell you you're stupid and I hate you. But
Yeah.
I think his best skill is his basic.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
basic is such a huge boost. I think there's a place for him. He's just, I don't know. I haven't played with him enough to like have a full opinion, and I need to experiment with more comps. But overall, I don't think there's a huge difference from him from before.
I mean, okay, let's put down Firestorm for a second, I guess. What do you guys think about Reverse Flash? Because I haven't played with him yet. I've played with Firestorm only. But any changes to his kit that make you happy?
The
No.
awareness.
Yeah,
The
maybe
awareness
skill
is a big
5.
deal.
Yeah. So does that make his fifth legendary like your go-to now? Like right at the top?
And then I'd still take his basic first, and then I would take his 4 second, like always, but I'd move his 5 up over his other. I like Reverse Flash a lot more than I did, because before I thought he was actually pretty bad.
Mhm.
Now, he's another character that he doesn't really fit into this meta. But I'm starting to experiment with some speed down teams, which I haven't had a lot of success with yet. But I have been experimenting more with speed up teams with what the heck is his name? Ocean Master with Mary, and those teams work really well.
Sorry guys, I lost audio. My apologies.
That's okay.
No problem.
Yeah, I was just starting to say he's too fast.
Right. Reverse Flash is too fast.
No, for real. Like he's too fast. I want him to be a little slower because the speed is actually working against him. It's almost like Batwoman speed. Like she's too fast too, and it ends up messing up who you want to attack or in what order you want to attack them, and he can miss. So if you're going up against an evasion meta team, you're gonna lose.
Yeah. Like that's one of the things about the speedsters in general that people have brought up many times. Like, how do the speedsters miss against evasion teams? How can you evade like the fastest people in the universe?
It shouldn't be possible.
Yeah. Like, anyways, that's more of a canonical problem. But yeah, like the thing about the Reverse Flash's kit that I've always liked is the fact that he's got so much going off his basic because he gets a lot of free attacks. That's what I like about him. So he can go like off his even off of his attack that goes that lets him reset his HP. He gets a punch right after that, and the punch can chain into an AoE, which is crazy. So he gets like set back up with all the speed ups that he's lost from resetting himself. Like it's just ridiculous. So that was so fun back in the day with the speed meta, the speed crit meta. So do you think there's going to be any revival of that meta, or sort of
a little bit, because I mean Flash is so good now, and he just because I've fought a couple teams that had Reverse Flash and regular Flash, and it's pretty cool because I mean they're just attacking like crazy, and you can ramp up Reverse Flash with the speed ups so fast. I mean you get his time paradox on like turn 2 sometimes, and then you can get the 6, 7 strength ups. But once again, Wonder Girl just rapes him, and she just, I mean, there's nothing he can do, and he's not.
She just destroys him. Yeah.
Yeah. His awareness keeps him alive sometimes, but then he loses his speed ups and strength ups, but he's definitely an improvement. The problem that I just see right now is that he's not. I mean, he's better against Wonder Girl than some other greens, but he's.
So let's say the predictions for this month. The prediction for this month's characters are going to be Reverse Flash and Firestorm are going to be Wonder Girl food. But they are better than they are before, so maybe they go up from like 1 rank from wherever they were before.
Yeah.
Maybe at the most. But the stars of the show are probably going to be Captain Atom and Booster Gold. Captain Atom, my prediction is much more than Booster Gold, but Booster Gold probably might come out and surprise you. Who knows?
I think Booster Gold's going to have a big place because he's going to deal with these problem blues that have been a problem for the dawn of time.
Yeah. Let's hope so. I hope that is what it is and it'll shake up the meta, but we'll see. Time will tell.
It's usually a little bit different than, right now we're just reading it off a piece of paper. So it's hard to tell. I know that we've had tunes that look amazing on paper, and then when we go to use them, we're like, oh, I didn't realize that it would work like that. Or maybe it's working a little differently than we thought. And sometimes on the tunes that on paper they don't look great, they end up being great. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard to tell. We'll find out in what is it? 4
Couple days.
days and a couple hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because Grim's posting about Firestorm in the chat.
He just rebirthed them.
He's a rebirth 1 Firestorm level 80 max Gear 11. It's over 9,000. But
Wow.
yeah, and he says, and 2D Tron's like, it's gross. And he's like, yeah, he's better than Roz.
Yeah,
well,
for those of you who
2D
don't
does
know,
have a Roz, so
Yeah.
a rebirth to Roz.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Grim just won last siege, so maybe he's on to something.
Yeah, there you go. Who
Well,
knows?
he's using my strategy. I mean, he wins, so I haven't won siege, but my strategy is I usually rebirth 1 siege tune if I can.
Fair enough.
For that month. This month I only have 6 tokens, so it's not happening.
Yeah, you won't be able to until halfway through, and then there's no raid until the end of next month. So
Yeah, August 30th.
All right. So let's see what next month has in store for us. Hopefully I don't know if I should say hopefully for our predictions, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how close we are. Alrighty. So let's go on to the quality of life updates before we wrap things up. So in the last patch that we got filters which have been added to the game. We have the auto ×3 button, and not the auto ×3. It's the Speed Force ×3 button. Then
Which is
we
wonderful.
have the ability now for officers to replace inactive alliance leaders. I guess that was a problem. And then improved sorting for fine materials. So first, let's get into the filters. What do you guys think about adding filters and taking away from the previous filters that we had?
Ugh.
You can go first.
I'm just gonna say that. That's my only response. I hate the new filters.
Oh yeah.
I
Okay.
I
They're-
love
Right,
the
I'll tap
idea of advanced filters, but I don't like the implementation of the advanced filters.
Yep. Luke, what do you feel? How do you feel about them?
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of filters. It's just the execution was not good.
Yeah.
They made
I
it
think
harder to sort your character. I mean, in a
It takes
way,
longer.
like they'll say they made it easier to sort your characters, but it takes a lot of extra steps. You got to go through a menu. You got like 10 choices now. It was so much better just being able to touch red, green, or blue on the bottom left. I mean, if you're going to put in additional filters, you got to make them the same level of ease of use.
I don't remember who made the graphic. I think maybe it was Joker's Alliance. They were talking about like proposing a hybrid filter of using the concept of what the filter involves, having 3 energy classes, male, female. They put the other stuff like alien and so on in the advanced part of the filter, but on the like sort of bottom part of the menu where you used to have just the 3 colors, add in like a male female section, and that's all, right?
Yeah, but then they're gonna have to do the alt binary characters. They need more room.
Oh, fair enough.
So just leave that in the.
Well, actually, I have an idea, but I don't have an Android, so I can't tell you if this works or not. DP, do you have an Android?
No, I have an iPhone.
Oh, okay. Well, on an iPhone, it's called Force Touch, where you can tap the screen, and then if you want to drill down further, you can just push it, and how it like kind of like clicks, and then another menu could blow up. So if you really want to drill down on your blues, you could touch the blue and then force touch it, and then the menu pops up, and then you could choose further filtering, but it doesn't take away your ease of just touching the blue.
So basically,
yeah, that would be nice.
You just hold on after you touch it and hold it a little bit longer.
Yeah, then like the menu pops up. It'll blow up into a bigger menu, but it doesn't take away your ability to just get to your blues.
Programming. You can do that type of program for web apps too. Like basically, it's just you hover over something, and then
It may not work
you
with
click
all
and hold.
devices. Is the problem.
Yeah, that's the hardest problem. Yeah,
So it doesn't
implementation of
work
it.
with iPad, because iPad doesn't have Force Touch. But
Right. And I'm sure there's a
actually,
lot of
I
phones
think
that
they
are out there.
implemented a software soft touch now on iPad. So I don't know.
Like I'm
Maybe
saying, there are similar things like even web apps, like using a mouse, you can make that type of thing work. But it's just the coding is different. That's all. The idea.
But even if
is
they don't
there.
do that, just return the buttons and then give sorting features. My problem too is I don't care about sorting by male, female,
neither do I.
hero
Yeah.
or villain. I want to what I was hoping for when they first announced it, and I was expecting it. I'd be able to sort by I'd type in stun, and then I could see all the stunning
that would be
characters.
cool.
That's
That
what
would be
I
cool.
really want.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
And the one thing that I
Sort
thought was
by
gonna
skill. I like it.
Like,
Yeah.
and I hate mentioning other games but I thought they were going to get on the level of Marvel Strike Force's filtering system, because if you ever see that game has so much different filtering, because it has like affiliations, you have mutants and non-mutants, you have male, female, you have city and non-city, you have so many like different types of aliens out there, and there's not that many layers to the DC characters like that we have right now. You have what, Earthling and non-Earthling. You have male, female. You have the 3 energy types, or the 3 classes, basically. I mean, you wouldn't need that much filtering. But then getting into the more complex stuff, I thought that like characters like, for example, depends on Titans or depends on Kryptonians or things like that, right? That gave me the hope that affiliations are going to matter. So they were going to do affiliation sorting. They haven't got to that point with this filter yet, but hopefully, either they make it like they step up the filtering even more, but they make it accessible. That's the one thing I want. Like, put a base amount of like hotkeys or hot touchable buttons there, and then have the advanced filtering as an addition. That's what I want to see. So don't take away what was there before. Add another button. That's it. So
Yeah,
we'll
I
see.
agree.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the new the Speed Force ×3 button?
It's great.
That is very welcome.
It's great.
Love it.
It's just awesome.
It makes me get through my workday faster.
The only thing I kind of wish was that, like, if it's a 5-node thing, instead of just letting us do 3 and then
totally
we have to do
agree.
2, just have it pop up as 5 if it's a 5-node, which, I mean, it's a small complaint, but it's still nice.
Because
There
basically
aren't very many that are like that, but it's in the rings.
It's annoying.
Yeah, I did the 3 and then I had to do 2 1s.
Yeah, you basically tap the screen. You tap the Speed Force button 3 times instead of 5. I guess it's an improvement. So
yeah, anything to speed it up.
Yeah. All right. There was the small changes to the whole officers can replace inactive alliance leaders. I guess that doesn't really affect any of our alliances.
They have to be, so those of you that don't know, they have to be inactive for a month, and then they can be removed.
Okay, well, there you go.
It's a good feature, and I do know people that have used it recently. So it does work, and it is effective.
Yeah, that way you can take away the one person who can't be kicked out of the alliance. That's just like dead weight. So, all right. So what else is there? The whole improved sorting for fine materials. I think, hey, this is very welcome for you, right?
I don't know. I've never used it. I don't know what it is.
I don't even know where this feature is. I can't find it.
So basically, when you go to your gearing, right, and when you click on like a specific type of gear that you don't have enough of, then on the right-hand side of the screen, when you're looking at that gear, it'll say find material, and then it'll show you where, like, which campaign nodes they can be found in, which upgrade missions they can be found in, things like that. And then if you go into that, for example, if you go into the upgrade node that has, let's say, the level 3 of the material that you want, and you get that, and you go do that, it'll pop up with like a counter of how many you actually have after obtaining new ones. So, yeah.
Okay.
So apparently the sorting on all of that has improved, and now that when you hover rings and other items and gears, it'll show you how much you actually have in your collection. I think pretty much everywhere in the game, Like if you go to the shop, if you go to a node that, or if you go to an event that may drop those items, or you can actually see them more. So that's what I think.
Yeah, if you touch the item and you keep your finger on it, it'll have a pop-up that does show you how much you have. I personally would much rather have a button called inventory.
That's what Bullsy's talking
Show
about right
me
now, right?
all of my gear. Show
Yeah.
me what I have. Let me see it on one screen. Let me sort it. Let me look at all my green materials. What do I need? I don't usually touch that area that you were talking about before, where you find the material. I usually, like when they just announced that it was a red and I think it's a red and a green, right? Booster's red and Adam's green. So I farm enough materials for all the characters. As soon as I hear about them, I would like to see what I'm missing on a screen, so I don't have to like go through each node and touch each thing like 10 times.
Yeah.
Which makes you actually, now that I'm thinking about it, your touch for the filtering, they already have the pop up when you hover over, so it's already there.
Oh yeah. Yep. Well, they did something. Apparently, it's improved. So.
Yeah. We're moving in the right direction.
Yes.
Let's get raids to where they're actually fun,
Yep.
and then give me more rebirth tokens, and we're in a good place.
Yeah. So let's hope at the end of August we have something good to talk about for the podcast that time.
Yeah, that
Okay.
actually we probably won't be recording that weekend if it is the weekend of the
Actually,
raid.
it's the very last weekend. Yeah, so probably.
Well, maybe we could grind while we're talking.
We'll see.
We'll see.
You know, there is one thing that happened whenever they did this QLL update, they broke like node selection.
They're fixing that. It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
they
just a
already
bug.
fixed
Yeah, they're
it?
aware. They're working on it.
Oh, okay, they're aware of it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like, I thought it was me. I thought I was just having trouble, or my finger wasn't working, or my screen wasn't working.
I think there was also a bug with the Speed Force 3 button, where if you Speed Force 3 through the Find More Items menu, you can't, and you have to sort of pay gems to renew it again. You can't hit the pay 100 gems button. Like it's grayed out, and you keep.
Yeah, you're right. I heard about that too.
Up. Yeah, so that was kind of like a weird bug. I think either it's been fixed or they're working on it now because they've acknowledged that. So
okay,
but if you go into the actual like the upgrade mission screen that has the 5 nodes, then you can just refresh the nodes from there. So yeah, it's just a weird thing. Anyways, I guess that brings us to the end of the show. We'll wrap things up there with our shoutouts. So as we do every month, we shout out 2D at our Bruce Wayne level. So if you are like him at least at the Zatanna level or higher, it'll earn you a topic suggestion for each of these episodes at the end of the month. That way we'll have even more things to talk about. So, yep.
And
thanks to
2D is a recent owl, too.
Oh, really?
brand new owl. Yeah, he's got his owl eyes.
He's joined the dark side. Speaking of which, I remember that on one of your recent owlscapades, I'll call it, you had one of your episodes, you had owl-based theme music at the beginning and the end, right?
Yep.
So I think the JLR has to step up their podcasting game as well. So maybe look out for that in the future. More of that, at least. Anyway, so yeah, thanks again to 2D for being awesome. And also special shout outs to our newest patrons for this month. We have Astianax. Sorry for butchering your name, but that's the name I got on Patreon. And we have OC3, aka the Ocean. Now,
no,
a $1 patron.
Wrong person.
No,
OC3 is not the ocean.
Bullsy's the ocean? Oh, Bullsy's the ocean.
Bullsy's the ocean.
OC3
is
OC3 is OC3. Okay, so I actually call it.
He's coming soon.
Ocean. I just thought OC3. I made that connection. Just anyways. So
he's the in game. He's coming soon.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so coming soon. OC3. He's not the ocean. That's why he's a. So, that being what it is, for all you guys that haven't already messaged me on Discord or that are patrons that don't already have your exclusive patron WRL patron roles, be sure to message me through Discord. If the bot doesn't do it automatically, I will set you up with your roles so that you could be awesome and show it off in Discord. And also, I keep saying that I'm going to do this, but I haven't been able to get around to it for the last couple of months. But we have unlocked the $50 goal achievement, and then we should be able to work ringtones and get those out to you Patreons as soon as possible. I only have a couple right now. If any of our patrons or even any of our listeners have a good idea of clips that you think would make good ringtones, send them to me, or just tell me what clips, then which episodes I should take a look at, and I'll clip them and make them into ringtones and send them out to everyone. What else is there?
M4 found the episode where Doombox trashed on Etrigan, so we got to get that one.
Which clip are we talking about? Which Doombox clip?
The where he says Etrigan is trash.
Oh yeah, we got to find that one. Someone has to find
that.
Yeah,
M4 found it.
Okay.
He messaged it to me. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I'll send it to you.
Someone send that to me and I'll put it into a list after, and I'll make that. Okay. Also, there's the next tier. I think the next goal is the $75 goal. We're 54 out of 75, which is not too far. If we get to the 75, and which is not that far off, we have it listed as merchandising. That's something we have on the table. So if you guys want to have t-shirts, baseball caps, mugs with WRL branding stuff on it, it's probably stuff that we can work on. So we're not that far off that goal. So if you guys want to help make that happen, become a patron at patreon.com/WROL broadcast. And that is all the selling out that I'm doing today. So
all right. Nope, that's it. I'm getting wife aggro and
yeah, me too.
So.
I just got it. I was just saying you got to get off.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. So with that, we will be done. So have a good night, guys, or a good day. So
all right,
later,
take
guys.
care, everyone.
Take care.
Thanks.
Hey everyone, it's Tutitron. Thank you for listening to WROL Broadcasts. If you like the show, consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/WROL Broadcasts. You guys think if I go out of my way next siege to lose to hate a bunch, that he might send me those dirty socks of his? I hope so.